Okay, so I'm just going to do a quick hash over on 5 different personal amplifiers. I'm using them specifically for the context of costuming, but this review can really cover everything. I'll just kind of give you just the basics. So here goes. I'm going to show them on the computer screen there, and I'll also demonstrate part of their functions as well. So the first one is Retecus TR619. It's conceptually it's pretty decent. The one I got is defective, however. I don't know if that's a regular fault that they come through, but yeah, it pretty much just looks like the one online. But here's the example. So it comes with an echo option, and you can toggle the echo, turn it up or turn it down. So there, it's completely off. Here it's a little bit there, so it almost gives a quasi reverb feel, but it is still echoey. But so overall, this is a decent, with the exception of the defect. I'll share that in a second. Now you can see on it. Let me tint this down. So you can see on it it's got a function button, but what they called it fun, F-U-N, rather than F-N. So I was kind of confused on that until I read the directions. Mainly because it didn't work, and it's got an M on it, so I thought it was mute. Yeah, I'm not really sure what that's all about, but anyway, it's supposed to control the toggle between the USB, the TF card, and the radio, and the on any of these models, the personal mic also goes over top of whatever audio you have on. So that's advantageous. So if you've got a TF card that you want to play some tunes or just some sound effects, then you can talk right over top of it. So that's good. This does not have an independent volume for the mic versus the other item, or the TF card or whatever you're using. All of these except for one actually does, and I'll get to that one in a minute. And that's advantageous in its own way, but we're not talking about that one right now. So anyway, the problem with this one is whenever you press M or fun or function, it won't play the TF card. So basically something's wrong with its TF card slot. I've tried multiple different TF cards that work in the other amps, but just not in this one for some reason. But thus it's hard to test all these functions when it doesn't work. But if you just go beyond that, and if you just want to look at it's got a good user interface. User experience wise, this one is one of the better ones because of its obvious nature of they're well labeled buttons, and knobs and whatnot. Some of the other ones are pretty bad. You can't read anything. It doesn't have words on it, and it's all the same color. So yeah. Anyway, so I'm returning this one because it's defective on the TF card. But maybe if the TF card works, I might actually keep it. I don't know, but it doesn't. So I've got different ones I'm gonna keep. So swap on to the next one. This one is this one's kind of my number 2. This one's cool because it's got this one is the Retecus TR62 or 623 voice amp. So the first one was Retecus as well. Not a good track record. This one also has a bad button here. So this is supposed to record onto the TF card with a long press and then a long press, or I don't remember. It starts one way, but anyway, it's supposed to, with a short press, it's supposed to stop the recording, but instead the stop doesn't work. Instead, it just instantly deletes it, which is supposed to be just a long press on the record is supposed to delete it, but it doesn't work. So the only way I could get it to save a recording was to turn it off mid-recording, and then it would save it. So I found a workaround, but it's a pretty shoddy, that makes for a pretty shoddy design. So 2 out of 2 Retekis show up with a fault, and I don't have any more, so I don't know if any actually do come out all right, but I assume some do. But what's cool about this, and why I probably will keep it, is that it's got a separate volume for the mic versus the other content. So if you've got the radio going, if you've got the TF card, or if you've got a USB thing in there, you can control that with a separate volume. So that's pretty cool. I'm thinking of the context of if you're doing Darth Vader and you've got the breathing going, and you've got your just your regular voice. And if you can't control the breathing volume, if it's too loud or too soft, then that's, you kind of set up for failure from the get-go. So I'm probably going to keep this. Maybe I'll swap it out to see if I can get one with the record button that works, but I really don't need a record button. But it just, sucks that it doesn't work out of the box. But it's got a good display. I like this one because it's good usability. The buttons are very visible, and you'll see what I mean in a second. On the last 2 of these, they're kind of poor usability, but that kind of describes this one. I'll talk into it, but it's give me a second. Okay, so yeah, that's this. I don't have a TF card in it, so I can't compare with the whole volume thing, but you get the point. Oh, and all of these, the first 3 I'm talking about here all have a record capability. Oh yeah, that's not actually what I was getting at. The radio capability. 3 of the 5 that I've got have a radio capability, which that's cool if you want to use it. They all work fine. And they all work exact same way for programming the radio, which is just when you go to the radio option. Let me see if I can remember how to get there.
FM mode.
Oh, see there, I'm controlling on a different volume knob for the FM. So what's cool about it is, and I don't know if I can do it after it's already programmed, but when I first turned it on and nothing was programmed, it had 0 channels loaded. All I did was push and hold the play, and then what it does is it goes through and it programs all the channels. So you can see it programming right now. And it's exact same across models. So yeah, was it? Oh no, I guess 4 out of my 5 have radio. So this is Retekis. I have a Shido and some kind of no-name brand, and they're all the exact same way, and they all equally as easy and whatever for programming radios. So anyway, enough of that. I'm going to turn that off. Of course, my computer has decided to go to sleep on me. Okay, sorry about that, back in business. Oh, don't do that to me. Okay. Here we go. And now the next one. That's not actually my next one. This is my next one. So this one is actually my favorite. Because it actually worked out of the box. It's Shido. And all of these have decent headphones or mics on them. They all have a metal neck here. One of them actually has a braided cord, but most of them don't. But this one's very old school in the fact that it's got a toggle volume, which is cool because I hate the ones that have the buttons where you click, 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 click. because it's more tactile. It's better. I like the analog style of that. This one actually worked for recording. That was kind of the main thing, is that it worked. It sounds good. The only thing it's missing is it doesn't have a echo or a reverb or a separate volume control for other stuff. But I do like the design, and these buttons are soft touch, and you know, it's just a good user experience. So because of that, I'll probably keep it. And you can kind of notice the depth on these, because there's one that's actually a really small form factor. Okay, so the next one here is this guy. Oh yeah, that one was, it's just Shido at the bottom, but it says Yoso voice amplifier. Whatever, I guess the brand is technically YUESO or SUO, but it says Shido on it. I don't know. Anyway, so the next one is a K-Mag voice amplifier. This one I'm not a fan of because I can't read the buttons. I don't have the greatest vision, but it's not completely horrendous. But you've got to really like get it at an angle in order to actually get a reflection of light to see what's in these things. I was thinking if I kept this, I'd have to paint these in, because that's pretty bad. But yeah, so we'll just try it out. It's, again, the radios.
Microphone mode.
The radios are all good. This is another one with an echo option. I've got the echo turned down a lot, so it almost sounds like a reverb. Just a very slight reverb. Of course, if I turn it up, then I get the echo. But what is kind of appealing is if you wanted reverb, and would settle for an echo that is quasi reverb, then maybe this is for you. The display is not nearly as large as in the picture, but you know, whatever. Again, my heartache is about these buttons. This one does not have a record option, but from what I remember, it did play the TF cards fine. It was I just didn't like the user interface on it. All of these have a decent volume too. And of course, I'm not trying to light up a room with audio. I'm just looking for, you know, is it good enough to come out of a costume? Is it loud enough for, you know, people around you? Yes, these are all loud enough for that. They all may well be good for a classroom or something too, but I wasn't testing for that. This one does actually come with a TF card, which I was happy about, because I was beginning to wonder if my cards were bad, which is maybe why that first Ritechus was not working. But I was glad that this one did have a card, and I was able to test all of these out, that they all worked except for that one Ritechus. Okay, so on the last one is Dominox brand portable amplifier. If you look at this one, it's a lot thinner. Let me bring up this Shido, or whatever the heck it's called. A lot thinner form factor. Yeah, so the problem with this one also is, can anybody see what's on those buttons? You get it at an angle and you might be able to get a reflection and see, but that's kind of ridiculous. But I know this one is power. This one has no display, which I don't have any qualms about. I don't need the display. But it does have the slide volume, which I do appreciate that. And here's just an example of it. It sounds fine. Good amplifier. Yeah. Ooh, crap. Anyway, so yeah, and again, these all play TF cards just fine. The ones that have radios all do well with radio. And yeah, so that's kind of it. Again, the two Ritechus
I thought maybe because they actually had a brand name, and I think I even found them on a website. I thought they may have a higher quality control and stuff, but while they do have good user interfaces, I was disappointed that each of them had some kind of fault out of the box. What I do know of, as well as this one here, this K-Mag, if you're looking to gut it, this is a good one because of, and I'll show you in this video. You can see if you're, so what I did with a previous amp, all right, be quiet. What I did with the previous amp was I took it apart and embedded it inside a helmet. And my challenge was it had a circuit board that wrapped around the speaker. So I had a big circle, and it was a huge board. This one actually shows you the innards. So if you wanted to gut one, this one's good to go with, because you'll probably lose these buttons anyway, or you can still paint them. But that way you know your board is nice and small, and it's probably going to be a lot more cost effective and cheaper than building one yourself. And what I've done as well is bought a amplifier circuit board, bought a mic with preamp circuit board, bought separate batteries and all this stuff, and built my own stuff. And still the volume isn't there because they were just 3-watt boards, and you had to buy, it just gets more complex when you go to a higher wattage, because then you need to take your 3.7 volt battery and you convert it to a higher voltage in order to support the higher watt boards. And so I've bought some of those too to try that out, just because I'm a fiddler and I like to see. But this is probably a good one just to gut and use for whatever you want. And yeah, that's kind of most of it. Just to compare sizes. All right, quiet down, you. Let's get this out of the way. Now the magnets are sticking to each other now. So, yeah, that's it on the sizes. This one is significantly smaller. So if you want to embed that in something, the entire package, you might be able to do that more easily. And I imagine this one too, if you're willing to piecemeal it together and whatnot. But anyway, that's it on that. They all came with straps for hanging around your neck or whatever, but I don't really care about that stuff. And of course, they all came with cords, and only the one came with TF card. Hopefully that's helpful to you. Yeah, that's it for me. Cheers. I'm out.